Well, Max, congratulations. Obviously, kind of one of the weirdest moments of your career, right? I'm sure it'll feel just fine when the check clears, but it's probably a little unfulfilling tonight. So, just as you sit there right now, just can you process what unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, I had the man weak in the knees, I guess. So, all jokes aside, I just hope he's good. I know Connor been battling some stuff. Looked like he really been changing. He found God. He had his kids in there. So, during the fight, you could obviously tell his demeanor changed, And I was, shout out to the ref. I was trying to tell the ref sooner, this guy's kids is front row, I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage. Trying to stop the fight, but this is how crazy Connor is. The first time he's on the ground, I was punching him. He's like, fight. I was like, okay. That's why I backed up. I said, stand up there. Let's fight. And then he fell back down, and then the fight was called.
I mean, you've been in the UFC octagon more than anybody, right? But I just wonder, you knew you had a wounded guy, but it's almost hard for you to stay mentally focused. Like, hold on, remember what we're here to do. I got to go hurt this guy.
Not at all, we killers. We're killers. But at the end of the day, I'm a human being, you know what I mean? I think so. That's why I'm so loved in this sport, because I can actually separate the fighter from the person. So when I saw him hurt, I was like, man, come on. Like, you call this. He was done, and he wanted to fight, tried to stand up again, fell back down. I just hope him a speedy recovery, It's all love to him. The man, like I said, is trying to change his life around, so, sending prayers his way.
Yeah. You had a better look at it than anybody, and you identified it earlier. Do you think it was that first kick that he threw?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did the UFC podcast before I came here, and me and Wonderboy was talking about it. Even with him walking into the octagon, it didn't seem, it just didn't seem like the same Connor, Like, I thought he was stood there to fight, but like I thought he'd be a little bit more rowdy, a little bit more crazy. He looked like really, really calm, like super calm. So I was just kind of like, oh wow, let's see how this goes. And then of course I knew he was gonna attack me with something, and it was that kick. So it sucks.
Yeah, I mean you called for the trilogy, right? I'm sure there's several million reasons why that would make sense to you. But I mean, is there any part of you that's like, I don't know if that really does make sense to go fight that guy?
Nah, bro. He was talking about this 170 domain. I put in this 170 work. We worked our asses off here, especially after turning around so fast after that March fight, and to come back. I wanna feel this domain that he's talking about, this 170 corner that he's talking about, this different world. That's what I want. So I know I want to see what his injury is, and for me, I'm down to come back 2027. With that March fight and this fight, I know I came out unscathed, but I owe my family some time. I owe my wife and my son some time, some family time. So that's why I focus. You guys are gonna see Bless return in 2027.
You laid it out, but last thing for me, I mean, there's a case that a lightweight title shot would be kind of interesting. You know what I mean?
Hey, you said it, and I would love that. So I'm on the same boat as the 155 champ. I heard he's not coming back to next year too, so we might be on the same cruise.
Max, can you just go back? You had said what Connor was saying. He was saying, fight, let's go. But can you just walk us through when you were talking to the ref, telling him, hey, his kids are in the audience. Did you actually say that to the ref? I don't want, or what did the ref say?
Yeah, I told the ref, ref, stop the fight. He doesn't want to fight. I was like, bro, his demeanor is right. And then he said fight the first time. So I was like, okay, stand up. So I backed up, he stand up, and then he tried to do this hop step where he hop forward, hop back, and then he did it again, and then when he went back, he just kind of grabbed his leg, and he screamed. He said, and I was telling the ref, come on, bro. Like, what you want me to do? Keep it, like, this guy he brought his kids to the fight, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't trying to beat up a wounded dog.
Max, what was this week like for you? I mean, it just seems so weird hearing you get booed and things of that nature. Like, that just never happens. So what was that like for you? I know it's such a big deal and a big fight, and you thrive in that stuff, but what was this week like for you?
Shout out to my management. It was actually a pretty calm fight week. They kept everything under control for me with media-wise, and we just did what we had to do usually. And with the booze, I love the booze, It's always fun being the villain, The man even said it, Sometime he said my old nickname. He called me Little Evil. I don't know if you guys caught that, but my nickname was Little Evil before I came Blessed. So I'm glad that when I get to bring out that persona for a little bit, and it's fun.
What would Blessed say to Little Evil? Like, as you're getting into the sport and you're kind of in that position to see where you're at now, headlining a card International Fight Week with the biggest star in the history of the sport, what would you tell Little Evil?
I'll tell Little Evil, get your head straight and stop being a jackass and change your name to Bless.
Max, you kind of just touched on with John if, a trilogy could make sense or maybe not make sense, but let's say they come to you and say, yes, we're going to opt for the trilogy. Is there any part of you that fears that it'll be hard to promote this to the fans and just convince them, hey, Conor's coming back again and let's run it back?
Not at all. Not at all. You saw all the numbers that this thing was getting. That was after the man of 5 years. And you can just push it as, he got an injury. Wow, who cares? And I'm sure he might be the betting favorite. Who knows? That'd be great.